Alright, boils and ghouls, it's back. Probably no one, but maybe somebody noticed. One of the last videos, one of the gremlins, thought it was there. I did a magic trick. Next cut, it was gone. That's because it fucking fell. And I was too lazy to put it back in the frame, so now it's just up there. Leatherface from 2017. Now, I don't have a good track record with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre series. I mean, the first one is just a masterpiece. The second's my favorite in the series. The third is alright, but it's very, I don't know, it's just not memorable to me at all. Ken Foree's good. It's just not a good movie to me. It's not terrible. Then you have The Next Generation. That's, I think, the only other one I haven't covered yet, so that'll be in whenever that comes. Not good either. I mean, Matthew McConaughey and, Renee Zellweger in their very early roles. There's some good stuff, but again, not great. And then the only other thing I love in this whole property is the remake from '03. I think it's one of the greatest horror remakes, especially slasher franchise remake. Love it. The beginning's good. 3D is awful. If you want to hear me tear that apart, go back and watch that. Same with 2022. Awful. So I don't remember Leatherface at all. But I was reading real quick on it. I know Lily Taylor's in that. That's like the only thing I remember. It's an origin story on Leatherface, and it's a prequel to the original movie, because there's like 8 fucking timelines in this series. And it's in the same continuity as 3D. So that already kind of scares me. But I really don't remember anything from this movie. I saw it when it came out. I remember I did not like it. And then I never watched it again. So this is going to be pretty much a blind watch, but fuck it, let's do Leatherface from 2017. That way I can pretty much almost get this series done with. I start the movie on Tubi, and you start hearing a family singing Happy Birthday, but it's in Spanish. And I said, what the hell are the Sawyers doing talking in Spanish? And then I noticed it said Leatherface Espanol version on Tubi. So we're back to the American version. Alright, so we're having a little birthday celebration for young Jedidiah Sawyer, aka Leatherface. Lily Taylor, like I said, is in this. I like her a lot in most things. She's not like a favorite of mine. I don't think she's a great actress, but she's good, and she can carry a film. I don't know if she's just like the mom here of Leatherface, so I don't know how much she's in this, but she's carried quite some good films in her career. Now, I can't promise this, but I kind of promise I'm not going to get too much into this, because I already did during the whole 3D video. But I just want some consistency here. Who are all these people? We've seen this is supposed to be, again, a prequel to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, 74. It was just the hitchhiker, Leatherface, Grandpa, and Drayton. That's it. And now there's like weird people here in the family and stuff. And then the same in 3D. We have like 7, 8 people in the family that just appear out of nowhere. Is that supposed to be the hitchhiker as a kid? Because he was fat as fuck back then. It's supposed to be him, right? He has like the marks on his face, so I'm guessing that's him. So Verna is Lily Taylor's character, the mother of Leatherface, or whatever way they're really related. I mean, who knows? It's Texas. They're all fucking each other in this family. And some guy was being accused of stealing their swine. And he's swearing he didn't do it. He's like, nah, man, I don't dig on swine. That's all. They're cheering on Jed to pick up the chainsaw and kill this guy, and I don't like at all what they did with the hitchhiker here. Like, besides from his appearance and him being very, very pudgy, he looks like he's having an asthma attack when he's supposed to be excited. I don't like any of that performance. So young Leatherface, he's not ready to kill, and his mom consoles him. It's alright, but cool effects, because the guy pushes him, like Leatherface, towards the guy that got tied up, and it slices the chainsaw into his leg. That looks good. Then after Leatherface pussifies out, then Grandpa just takes the hammer and just smashes the guy in the skull. That looks pretty good. And then we flash to 1955 Texas. It looks good. The cinematography, the lighting, all of that. And I say that with all of the newer movies in this franchise and just new movies in general. It should. for the budget it had, and being in the Texas Chainsaw franchise, being a prequel to Texas Chainsaw Massacre, yet another prequel, it should have good everything from a technical aspect. So it's a positive, but it just doesn't have that grainy feel that the original does. It just doesn't feel like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So we have this couple in 1955 Texas, and they're driving on some desolate road, and they see something in the middle of the road. And of course, these geniuses decide to just pull over. Girl gets out, and she sees that it's a kid. But it's a kid and wearing a cow mask. Like a cow head for a mask. Which is never a good thing to approach a kid wearing one. Or when have you ever seen somebody wearing a cow mask outside of like Halloween and you weren't absolutely sure that you can knock them out in one hit? That ever turned out good in any way. But she ends up following the kid because the kid says, help me. And it turns out being Jedidiah Sawyer, Leatherface, and leads her to a trap. She falls down into this like trap door in their barn, falls, breaks a leg. Cool kill, actually. Drayton Sawyer comes out, tells Jedidiah, good job, man. You're learning. And he lowers down this big-ass piece of machinery or something, lets it go, falls and crushes this girl. You don't see much, but it's kind of brutal the way that it's shot and stuff. It's a good kill. I was starting to like formulate a theory or thought here, but I think I kind of already like answered my own question, because they go to where this girl was killed, and Drayton's there, and the sheriff, it's his daughter that was killed, so he's ready to kill Drayton. But they're saying they don't have anything on Drayton, that he just found a body and reported it. So he can't do anything. And then Verna comes and she tries saying, well, let these people go, like her family and everything. But I was thinking that this is 1955, and the sheriff mentioned to Drayton, said, you're not young anymore, so you're not going to whatever the facility name is. You'll be going to freaking prison. So if he had like prior altercations like this prior in his life in this town and in this area in Texas, nobody ever thought it was weird that he was like winning the chili cook-offs and stuff, and he was like this great chef. No one ever said he was like possibly a murderer or anything. But then I realized that's in Texas Chainsaw Part 2. Was he doing chili cook-offs in the events of 1? Maybe, but we don't see it. So my whole point fell apart there. So Sheriff Hartman is his name. He's just going at it at Verna and saying, like, you took my kid, like, I'm going to take all your kids. So he ends up taking Leatherface and sends him to the Gorman house. It's like a reformatory school. And then we flash 10 years forward, and he's awkward as shit. And I don't like how they portrayed him at all. Like younger Jedidiah, this version of Jedidiah, I don't remember like when he finally gets to Leatherface, or if he does in this. I don't remember where the story stops. If it flashes forward to him being an adult, or if it's just him like growing up. But I don't like it so far. Also, the husband at the very beginning with the sheriff's daughter, when she gets killed, the guy that she was with, his last name's Hardesty. So, I mean, this takes place in 55, almost 20 years before Sally Hardesty and Franklin. I mean, those seem like astronomical odds that another Hardesty was involved with anything to do with the Sawyers. But, I mean, cool homage, I guess. And then we get involved with, like, the nurse with the other guy, Jackson. And there's like, it just takes place in the hospital the whole time. Thankfully, it doesn't stay in the hospital the whole time. So Verna comes and she tries to talk to the head of this, insane asylum to try to get Jedidiah out. And he pretty much denies her. And then she decides to break him out. And then there's a whole riot that goes on. And the patients are fucking all over the place. And people are getting killed. And Leatherface kills some guy. And then they all escape. And Jackson and the nurse that he had like a thing for, they get like captured and taken hostage by these crazy lunatics from the place. None of this is good so far, by the way, might I add. So now, yeah, these two crazy fucks are taking the whole group, Leatherface, Jackson, and then Liz, the nurse, and taking them all to Mexico. Like, this is what they decided to do with this. This isn't interesting at all. What does this have to do with Texas Chainsaw Massacre or Leatherface or anything like this? It's a terrible origin story. This is not something I want to see when I see a Texas Chainsaw movie, and this is why this franchise is just so hit or miss for me. It's just not a concept that I think you can keep recycling over and over again. That's why the first two movies are the fucking best. And they haven't been touched since, except for the remake. And that's a stroke of luck. Like, that could have easily failed. Everything since then has just been garbage from this whole series, but who knows? Maybe it picks up. Actually, now I'm starting to question this. Maybe I missed something. I don't think I did. How did the sheriff in the beginning even take custody of Leatherface and send him off to an insane asylum? For what? Like, what cause? The mother didn't do anything. He threatened Verna and said that every time, there's a crime scene and stuff, a Sawyer happens to be there, I'm protecting them from you. But there's nothing on her. There's no charges that he was able to file against her. So how does he just take a kid away from his mother and just sends him off to an insane asylum for what? There's no charge. There's no anything. So none of that makes any sense. Like, to kickstart this whole story. Unless, like I said, I missed something. But when they first got there, they just said that they found the girl's body. There was no proof, and they even say that to Drayton, that there's no proof. They got nothing on them, that they were responsible for the sheriff's daughter's death. So how did he even end up in the system? I don't know, man. Once you start losing interest, then the questions just keep on going for nonsensical shit. You see him. That's what I like to see in Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies. This almost feels like a film they had to make, the studio who owned the rights, just to keep the rights. You know what I mean? Or before the rights ran out. So they said, shit, the rights are running out to Texas Chainsaw, we have to make a movie. This is what this feels like. Like, none of this is good in any way, man. I gotta stop watching these movies. Positives, though, as always, for the most part. The gore effects look good. There are some cool kills and effects in this movie. Like in the whole scene with the music playing, and there's a few deaths, and especially the girl who gets shot in the face and the blood squirts up. That looks all cool. So, I mean, the gore is cool. It's just like, none of this is engaging in any way. So it's just like, alright, cool, there's a nice, like, body exploding, but, like, give me something better. Then the sheriff, Hartman, he ends up, like, going crazy. He tries to kidnap Liz and Jackson, and then you get a plot twist that Jackson is actually Jedidiah, Leatherface. It's not the fat kid. So I don't even know what to make of that. But Hartman plans on killing them, and then the Sawyers show up, and they end up rescuing them. This movie's like Leatherface goes on a road trip. Like, it's awful. So Jed's face is all fucked up, and Verna is sewing it and everything. And then you think that he's gonna, side with Liz, who he's had this little relationship the whole time, but he ends up killing her. And then they feed the remains to their pigs. That looks kind of cool. And then you just see Leatherface making a mask of the detective or the sheriff and the girl, Liz, and putting it on. And he's putting lipstick on in front of a mirror, and he cracks his head into the mirror. This was fucking terrible. This is such a bad movie. Like, I was not entertained at all. I had to just find entertainment elsewhere, like off in the universe of my mind, because nothing happens in this movie that have any interest or anything good. This is a shame. And I will never watch this movie again. You can just add this to the list of Texas Chainsaw Massacre films that I will never watch again. We got one left. We got The Next Generation. That's the only one I haven't done yet. Whenever that comes, it will be much better than this. I know that. Because I liked that movie, actually, a little bit when I was growing up. It's not a good movie, but I can have fun with it. This is atrocious. So, take care, guys. Speaking Spanish, they're singing Happy Birthday in Spanish. The young hillbilly, is that supposed to be the young hitchhiker? Because he's fucking fat when he was... Because he has the mark on his face. Is that the fat hitchhiker? It's not a fat hitchhiker. Mother of Leatherface, or whatever way they really are related. Who knows with all the backwards fucking and interracial. But he's wearing a pig mask. And, like, the boyfriend asks her, who is it? It's just a kid. No, it's a kid wearing a creepy pig mask. Don't leave that detail out at all. And the person in the cow mask, all right? It's a cow mask, correction, not a pig mask. So just take all that stuff I said about the pig mask situations, slide that right over to the cow mask stuff. None of this is good so far, man. So the whole group of them, that's hard to do. Why? Oh yeah, I can just point at it. Plot twist that Leatherface isn't the big dude, the fat guy. This was fucking awful.